During the intense filming of The Shining, Stanley Kubrick used unconventional pressure tactics to provoke authentic emotional performances from Jack Nicholson. Famously, the director reportedly limited Nicholson to only cheese sandwiches, despite the actor's dislike for them. Over a 2-week stretch, aiming to stir genuine frustration that would fuel his portrayal of Jack Torrance's descent into madness. This anecdote has become one of the most talked about stories from the set. One entertainment outlet explained that a great way to get someone to act like a deranged murderer is to annoy them with food they hate. While Pixar director Lee Unkrich, who authored a book on the film, regards the tale as an exaggeration, it still seems to hint at Kubrick's obsessive method director style. Kubrick was well known for demanding relentlessly, often filming dozens of takes to reach the psychological realism he sought. His approach extended far beyond retakes. He controlled even what actors ate between scenes. Such tactics reflected his belief that emotional nuance wasn't confined to the camera's view, but could be fostered throughout every moment of the day. Jack Nicholson had already been pushed to his limits by Kubrick's notoriously long shooting schedule. Nicholson once walked away from the set for a Wimbledon break, sparking Kubrick's frustration. Now think of him confined to disliked food, sustaining an edge of irritability during the craft services moments that might seem mundane to viewers, but potent under Kubrick's deliberate manipulation. These off-camera stimuli mirrored details in the final cut. While Nicholson's iconic "Here's Johnny" scene required immense energy, Kubrick also exploited the actor's psychological state during downtime. By nudging Nicholson into constant mild annoyance, Kubrick promoted authenticity, blurring the lines between performance and lived experience. The cheese sandwich story has its skeptics. Critics say it might be Hollywood myth-making. Yet even if partially true, it exemplifies Kubrick's broader perfectionist strategy: exert total control over the environment to elicit spontaneous psychological responses. It wasn't merely about repetition. As with Nicholson's multiple retakes, it was about crafting a mood that bled into those retakes. Such techniques weren't unique to Nicholson. Shelley Duvall, as Wendy Torrance, faced even harsher treatment, with Kubrick reportedly subjecting her to an emotional pressure cooker. One scene was repeated 127 times, emotionally draining her until it produced a raw, unforgettable display. Kubrick isolated Duvall, manipulated lighting, and pushed her until the fear and fatigue captured on film transcended acting into visceral reality. Critics later condemned Kubrick's cruelty, calling his methods bordering on emotional abuse. Defenders, however, argue that the results justified the means. Duvall herself recognized that despite the hardship, Kubrick's relentless demands ultimately enabled what she described as her most powerful performance. Kubrick's broader legacy reveals a filmmaker who saw cinema as immersive mind games. He meticulously controlled every detail. He wielded technical precision, dozens of takes, Steadicam innovation, rigid perfectionism, and psychological tactics to excuse the mundane craft to bear emotional weight. The cheese sandwiches are a microcosm, not random cruelty, but a calculated decision extended into every moment of production to evoke an atmosphere of tension and unease. Today, The Shining stands as a masterpiece of atmosphere, driven by Kubrick's total vision. Academics, critics, and fans have parsed every frame, every scene, and every myth born on set. The cheese sandwich story enriches this legend. Whether literal or embellished, it reveals a director willing to manipulate reality to evoke raw human behavior, even in something as trivial as lunch. Whether Kubrick's methods were genius or borderline abusive remains controversial, but few would argue that what emerged on screen, a world of psychological horror and simmering madness, was anything less than cinematic gold. The cheese sandwich myth encapsulates the extremes of Kubrick's artistry, where emotional authenticity was cultivated in every corner of the production, from shadows on walls to sandwiches at craft services.